On this Sunday night, negotiations may be on pause, but that hasn't stopped Trump's trade threats. Can the president really follow through on all that tough talk? And how will Canada respond? And the cost of coming forward, a whistleblower's emotional story about just what happens after you go public. Plus, the national summer pastime that is driving beachgoers crazy. This is The National. Nafta talks are on hold for this long weekend, but Donald Trump's Twitter account is not. The president once again slamming Canada and threatening to just pull out of the deal. Lindsay Duncombe brings us the latest.
From his golf course, Donald Trump took a swing at Canada, tweeting threats to leave Nafta altogether, complaining the U.S. has endured decades of abuse. The Canadian response?
Our philosophy is keep calm and carry on. There is a sense that we can get it across the finish line, but there's a certain degree of volatility amongst certain of the key players.
By key players, he means the president himself. Trump campaigned on scrapping Nafta, and he doesn't seem to be the type to accept a reasonable compromise.
In Donald Trump's mind, Canada needs to surrender.
But the failure to reach a deal by Trump's Friday deadline exposes the reality he can't always get what he wants. Congress has the final say on trade, and lawmakers from both parties were quick to say they won't vote for a deal without Canada. There's also support for Canada from business leaders, farmers, and unions.
Our economies are integrated. The three countries in North America, the economy is pretty integrated. And it's pretty hard to see how that would work without having Canada in the deal.
As for Trump's threat to pull out of the deal entirely, he can't do that quickly or easily either. Congress needs 6 months' notice. And many worry if Trump does impose tariffs on Canadian vehicles as he has threatened, the integrated economy means American workers would lose their jobs.
I think the president has this wrong and he's playing with fire.
Neither side is talking about details of the negotiations, but likely sticking points include access to the Canadian dairy market and a dispute resolution mechanism. Talks resume here in Washington on Wednesday.
The CBC's Lindsay Duncombe in Washington tonight. So as she told us, there's no way to know how this will conclude. But what if worse came to worst and Canada was just left out of Nafta? Well, there might be a safety net. Some experts think the old Canada-US trade agreement would come back into force. Others say that's not a sure thing, might even require a presidential order. So what might a post-NAFTA world look like? Well, a report from RBC says some industries have so much cross-border integration they couldn't unravel it quickly. Tariff hikes would likely hit corporate profits and consumer prices sooner than workers. According to Moody's Investor Services, New Brunswick and Ontario could be hardest hit based on how much of their economies depend on exports to the U.S. BC is considered the safest. Here's what else we're working on tonight on The National. Another deadly shooting in Toronto after a violent weekend in the GTA. Plus, relief in Churchill, Manitoba, where the misery of life cut off by a broken rail link could soon come to an end. But first, the steep price of speaking out in Canada. An EI fraud investigator left jobless, bankrupt, and looking for help after she blew the whistle on her employer. As Go Public's Erica Johnson found out, whistleblowing can be a pretty dicey business in this country.
And another article about when you spoke out.
Yes.
It was big news when Sylvie Terrien spoke out. She used to hold a $60,000 a year job investigating fraudulent EI claims.
That was the first one. It was really intense.
But when the Conservative government told investigators to each save $500,000 a year by disqualifying people from benefits, she leaked the story to the media.
They're each required to find $500,000 in fraud, presumes that there's widespread fraud and that they're all a bunch of cheaters and criminals.
At first, the government denied having EI quotas, then called them targets. The controversy made for good satire.
Excuse me, sir, I'm with Service Canada, PEI, PIs. Need to ask you a few questions.
But it was no laughing matter for Terrienne. A few months later, she was fired. She spent the past 5 years trying to get her job back. She's unemployed and bankrupt.
It's financially difficult, but it's emotionally difficult.
Terrienne submitted a complaint to the Office of the Integrity Commissioner, created 11 years ago to investigate wrongdoing in the public sector and protect whistleblowers. They said they couldn't look at her case while the Labour Board investigated. A federal court of appeal ruled the Integrity Commissioner could investigate, but it's chosen not to.
The process is like, it's torturous.
My name is Joe Friday, and yes, it's my real name.
The Integrity Commissioner declined a request to discuss why Terrienne's case and dozens of others are taking years to be addressed. This whistleblower advocate says the system to protect people who speak out is clearly not working.
No one has ever been protected through this. And there's been no changes to the law, no attempt to rectify this. These are good, honest people who are doing the right thing to protect us, to protect the public, and they've lost everything.
Erica joins us now from Vancouver. So, Erica, we just heard a whistleblower advocate say the system designed to protect people hasn't done that at all. So how do we quantify that failure?
Well, it's not really very good news for public servants that are hoping for protection if they speak out. If you take a look at the stats, since the Office of the Integrity Commissioner was created 11 years ago, 306 public servants who have suffered reprisals have filed complaints. Of those 306, only 8 people have made it to the tribunal stage, and of those, only 1 has received a decision, and that decision was not in her favor.
Okay, so there you go. There's the chill effect on anyone, contemplating blowing the whistle. When it comes to her original objective of EI, though, what's changed inside that system?
Right. Well, Sylvie Terrienne felt it wasn't right to have a target or a quota to disqualify people from EI benefits simply to save money for the government. And we have contacted the now Liberal government and asked if that directive still exists. They say there are no longer quotas or targets for individual fraud investigators.
Okay, some change. Listen, thanks for this, Erica. Erica Johnson in Vancouver.
Good to talk to you.
So the man you just saw in Erica's piece, David Hutton, who's a longtime advocate for whistleblower protection, says that internationally, Canada has a reputation as being the Titanic of whistleblower protection. In other words, disastrous. There's no real protection at all. Canada falls behind the US, the EU, and Australia in how it shields those who are brave enough to blow the whistle on scandals and corruption and wrongdoing by the powerful. So in Canada, there is a criminal code provision, 425.1. It makes it an offense for an employer to threaten or take action against an employee as a way to punish them or steer them away from talking to law enforcement. But here's the kicker. The law does not apply to employees who report wrongdoing to the media. There was a parliamentary committee hearing in June of 2017 that led to a raft of recommendations for changes, but none of them was accepted. Now there's a letter-writing campaign underway from Democracy Watch to push for protection for all whistleblowers, public or private sector, no matter who they're reporting the wrongdoing to. Let's get you up to speed on some of the other developing stories we're watching tonight, starting with a huge fire in Brazil that broke out late this evening. Have a look at that. This is the scene at the National Museum of Brazil in Rio de Janeiro. It's the oldest scientific institution in the country. The fire broke out after the museum closed for the day. This museum is about 200 years old. It's home to thousands of historical and cultural artifacts, including dinosaur bones. It is not at all clear what sparked the blaze. And the discovery of a young boy's body today on a Saskatchewan beach has his family warning others about water safety. 7-year-old Gregan Geldenhuys had been missing for more than a week. Police believe he'd been at a beach with his mother. He was last seen on August 24th. His mother's body was found the next day just down the lake from where young Gregan's body was found today. Police aren't saying what happened to the pair, just that they don't suspect foul play.
Scary. It's so close to home. I mean, it's getting to the point where you don't know where you're safe anymore in the city.
And it was yet another weekend of deadly gun violence in Toronto. The latest fatal shooting happened just hours ago in a busy downtown area right near Canada's biggest fairgrounds, the CNE. Renee Filipponi watches developing stories for us Sundays on the National. So, Renee, there have been, a string of these deadly shootings in Toronto this summer. What do we know, though, about what happened tonight?
Well, Adrian, there are multiple crime scenes across the city today, the latest at Coronation Park in the heart of Toronto near the lakefront. A 30-year-old man was killed. 4 people were seen running away from the area. And police say the shooting happened inside the park near the baseball diamond. It's already been a deadly long weekend in the Toronto area. Saturday night, there were 2 separate shootings in Brampton. 2 men were killed. A woman was injured, and police believe those 2 attacks are related and targeted. Then this morning in Scarborough in East Toronto, a man was killed in a double shooting. It happened in a garage. Neighbors say they heard shots, and when police arrived on the scene, 2 men were on the ground with gunshot wounds. Now, a man named Shamar says he knew the victims.
The shooting can happen to anybody. We're in the hood. Things happen like this on a daily basis. This is what we grew up to live in. We already understand this. We understand that people do drop out, and we do understand people do retaliate. So what else do you really think is going to happen?
There have now been 73 homicides in the city this year, already more than last year as a whole. And all of this is putting the spotlight back on gun violence, the frustration on just how to tackle it. The city has called for a ban on handguns, something the federal government says it will look into. Adrian?
Okay, Renee, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
So if you are in Vancouver offering a rental on Airbnb, you now have to have a license. As Briar Stewart explains, this is part of the city's plan to deal with a common crisis, affordable housing.
Ulrika Rodriguez has been concerned about short-term rentals for years.
There's Mount Pleasant.
It began after she saw units in her 3-story condo building on Airbnb.
Often when a conversation about Airbnb and affordable housing come up, it's the single-family homes or it's the glass towers. And there's a lot of buildings like this that are also being affected.
Which is why she was initially hopeful when the city of Vancouver rolled out short-term rental regulations in the spring.
So the city has launched a new short-term rental program.
Under the bylaw, people can only rent out a place if it's their primary residence. They have to have a business license, and people had until the end of August to apply for one. City officials say there are 10 different platforms that advertise short-term rentals in Vancouver, but the vast majority of listings are on Airbnb. Now that the new regulations are in effect, city staff are going through the listings looking for those who aren't complying with the new rules. They're also getting some help from Airbnb. The company is sharing its data. And in an online post, Airbnb says it deactivated nearly 2,500 listings after the rules came into effect. But most of those listings weren't at all that active and hadn't been booked in the last 12 months. There are still nearly 4,800 listings online.
I was curious myself, and I thought the general public might be too.
Jens von Bergman has been analyzing the Airbnb listings and says even some of those who appear to be complying with the rules aren't.
Among the people that did use a valid license number, there was abuse of how that's supposed to be used too. So people, for example, used the same license for multiple listings.
He says he's also noticed that a slew of Airbnb hosts have recently altered their listings, so they now only rent for a minimum of 30 days, which means the short-term rental rules don't apply.
Yeah, there's a lot of gaps, to put it kindly.
Rodriguez says enforcement needs to be a priority, but at least she says she's glad that more people are now taking a closer look at short-term rentals and how they can affect affordable housing. Briar Stewart, CBC News, Vancouver.
It's possible the federal government will be getting involved in this. Airbnb told the House of Commons Finance Committee last month that it wants to be regulated. British Columbia, Quebec, and a handful of individual cities, including Ottawa, already have rules in place, as well as agreements to get tax revenue from Airbnb providers. And it seems that's paying off. Quebec has already netted about $2.8 million in the first 6 months of its deal with Airbnb. So now to a difficult anniversary for a tiny community in Nova Scotia. 20 years ago, Swissair Flight 111 crashed into the waters off of Peggy's Cove, killing all 229 passengers on board.
It's always heavy in the heart. You You just try to move on and live with it, live with the fact that it happened, and it's just not coming back.
Relatives of the victim and community members gathered at a memorial service in Bayswater, Nova Scotia. It was a tribute, of course, to the lives lost, but also an opportunity to recognize the contributions of those who helped recover bodies and debris, many of whom are forever changed by what they saw 2 decades ago. One of those people who just jumped in to help is David Zwicker. He worked with the city of Halifax at the time and spent the next 76 days assisting with the recovery process on the government wharf. And tonight, he's our witness.
The boats were coming in, and we were on packing the stuff into body bags and putting it in tractor-trailer coolers. Sort of grew on me right fast, and I know others as well, because the next day it's like it was all gone until everything was over. You know, we just got into it and did what we had to do for the community and those people. It was a terrible disaster, and at the time, meeting the people, I went for supper in Halifax with them. We went to the convention center and, you know, had a big do with them. And, you know, even though it was only 3 or 4 days, we really got to know them. Some days are rough. The RCMP wanted me to go for a little bit of, you know, I guess it was called at the time, classes and such, but I did go for a while, but I could have taken more. There's not a day goes by that I really don't think about it. I drive to Peggy's Cove quite often and sit down there. They say when time goes on it gets better. I guess it does. There's still days when I'm talking to the right people that I could weep a little. Yeah.
So David Zwicker was one of about 2,800 people who joined the recovery effort then. There are surely others who still carry that same burden. Still ahead on the national, battling shrinking populations with small community charm. We take a look at the provincial program attracting newcomers by providing the personal touch. Plus, why the internet is rallying for a robot stranded on Mars, the story behind the call to wake up, Offie. And it's a game for some, a whole lifestyle for others. Derek Stoffel shows us the game that's making waves on the beaches of Israel in this week's Dispatch.
We can say it's like tennis, but we play it with this, and the ball is something like that. And we have to give the ball from one to the other one.
It's a small stretch of rail, but it's made life hugely difficult in Churchill, Manitoba. The community has been isolated, cut off by land since floods damaged the line some 16 months ago. But as Aaron Broman tells us, things are starting to look up.
Hope hangs over the horizon in Canada's north. Hope that trains will return to the Hudson Bay Rail Line.
Still, I want to cry. I still do. Like, I probably will when I see that train coming out of the bush.
Almost a year and a half ago, flooding washed out sections of the track, cutting off the town of Churchill and other communities along the way. It's remained unusable until now. Now, a public-private partnership, which includes First Nations, has bought the rail line and the port. It's North America's only rail link to an Arctic port. And there are plans to export goods. But mostly people here are looking forward to a lower cost of living without relying on expensive air shipments of food, fuel, and services.
I don't think anyone's going to take the train as for granted anymore.
Dave Daly runs a dog sledding company. He's ready for the return of tourists who come to see the whales and the bears.
You know, the jobs will come back once the port is reopened, and you know, people will be working again. It's going to do huge things for our community.
Patricia Kanduran is visiting Winnipeg from Churchill. She says the morale in town is soaring once more.
It was like a feeling of drowning and not being able to come up for air. Now that the deal is signed, we can all breathe again.
Repairs to the track start this week.
I'm sure we're going to party in Churchill soon. This time it'll be the biggest party possible, I think.
But first, relief that the wait is over. Aaron Broman, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Now, Churchill is pretty far north, and prices were sky high before the land link was broken. So now, well, how about $7 for a loaf of bread, $8 for a head of broccoli? It's not just food. This summer, the price of gas hit $2.54 a liter. The town says that is the highest price in North America. So filling up this F-150 would set you back over $200. Moving south to another small community in that province. For 20 years, Manitoba has been matching immigrant workers with job openings in rural areas. Other provinces have since adopted this nominee program, but their workers tend to just move on to bigger places. Well, the bustling little city of Morden seems to have found the secret to keeping the workers. Karen Pauls went to find out how.
Most of these sewing machine operators are newcomers recruited through Manitoba's provincial nominee program.
We don't have any trouble finding work. We have trouble finding enough people.
Sheila Ramesh moved from India last year. She's already been promoted to a clothing inspector.
There are so much opportunities also, like to improve our career. And for kids also, there are many things to do here.
We get a chance to kind of travel the world every day.
As part of the provincial program, Morden has its own strategic recruitment initiative. Shelley Voth has brought in 50 families a year since 2012.
It's a very unique program. We get asked a lot about it from other communities. We get asked a lot about it from across Canada.
Because of this extra push, Morden's population has nearly doubled in the last decade. 85% of the newcomers are staying in town, bucking a Canada-wide trend where most provincial nominees settle in big cities.
This is an oxygen concentrator.
Jim Duff of On2 Solutions hopes Voth can help him find up to 200 workers in the next 3 years. He needs electricians and plumbers to build oxygen concentrators for hospitals and disaster refuge equipment for mining companies. Duff has tried to hire local people, but says he can't find what he needs.
It's more than just the skill set, it's the work ethic. That's a hard thing to find. So our last interview process, we interviewed a couple of born and raised Canadians, and the difference in attitude was shocking.
Meanwhile, he's thrilled with the staff he's already hired through the provincial nominee program.
I would very honestly say that if we didn't have these 5 people, we wouldn't be where we are now. I don't even know that we would necessarily be in business.
We have to set...
2 of them are the husband and wife team of Victor and Ibi Kovtan. He's an electronics engineer. She's in charge of inventory control, purchasing, and shipping receiving. They moved to Morden from Ukraine 3 years ago, and they feel safe here.
I was in maybe in every small town in Manitoba because of my work, but Morden is some special.
And now it's also home. Karen Pauls, CBC News, Morden, Manitoba.
Next on The National, as some male celebrities accused of inappropriate behavior or worse seem to be planning their comebacks, we revisit Rosie's interview with Emily Steele, who gave victims a voice by breaking the stories of Me Too. Plus, women are making their voices heard in other ways. We head to Toronto's biggest fan convention, where women say change is in the air.
I've been coming to this show for the last 10 years now, and there has certainly been a boost in women in this show than the guys, and it's really amazing to see them just completely have fun with the environment.
Their resignations were public, the backlash swift, but can the men disgraced in the Me Too movement return to the spotlight? Well, this week we saw some of the first steps towards comebacks. Comedian Louis C.K. returned to the stage for the first time since he was accused of masturbating in front of female colleagues. Page Six reported that fired Today Show host Matt Lauer recently told fans, quote, "I've been busy being a dad, but don't worry, I'll be back on TV." And for some time, it's been rumored that former CBS This Morning host Charlie Rose is looking to host a new show where he interviews men brought down by the movement. So given all that's happening, tonight let's revisit Rosie's interview with Emily Steele, whose reporting helped expose the misconduct of powerful men in American media.
Emily Steele is a New York Times reporter. Last April, she and her colleague Michael Schmidt dropped a bombshell about then Fox News host Bill O'Reilly.
Hi, I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks for watching us tonight.
Revealing payouts of more than $45 million to multiple women over sexual harassment allegations. O'Reilly denied the allegations, but Fox News dropped the conservative commentator from his juggernaut show.
If you don't like what's happening in the workplace, go to Human Resources or leave.
In December, Steele reported on a toxic work culture at Vice Media. 2 top executives were suspended. And just last week, Steele was part of a team from the New York Times awarded the Pulitzer Prize for Public Service. I met up with Emily Steele at the National Arts Centre in Ottawa on Wednesday. She was in Canada to talk about her reporting and how it helped trigger the Me Too movement. You know, I'm trying to think about what I would feel like as a 33-year-old who's won the Pulitzer.
I'm actually 34.
34.
You know, it's one of those things, as soon as I found out, I couldn't sleep for a number of days, just because since I was a very little girl, I always dreamed of becoming a journalist, and I've always really thought about these lofty ideals of journalism, of shining light on dark places and holding people in positions of power accountable and telling these stories that really help change the perspective of how people think about the world. And it's really just been a dream come true that I've been able to do that work, and then to receive the Pulitzer is really just, it was really special.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible moment.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Let's talk about some of the reporting then, and sort of the impact and how it started. And that's what I would, you know, as a reporter, obviously I have lots of questions about how you get these stories. And I think that's what people want to understand too.
Yeah.
So how did it first start to germinate? What was the first thing on the Bill O'Reilly story where you were like, we should look into this? How did that start?
The kind of seeds of this story really began way back in July of 2016. That's when Gretchen Carlson, the former Fox News anchor, sued Roger Ailes, the former head of Fox News, for sexual harassment. That story really burst into public view, the sexual harassment scandal at Fox News. And as a media reporter, we were just really chasing that story and just trying to keep up with this really wild and crazy competition of figuring out, was this an issue just at the top of the company, or was this something that was really pervasive throughout that entire organization? So we kept calling and calling and calling, and we started to see that there was a bigger story here, that there was a bigger problem.
So you were calling all these different people, but you were also calling them about a sensitive topic, topic where they had maybe signed an agreement to not discuss it. So how did you get people to start telling you these stories?
It was hard, and one of the things that I keep thinking about now is that we were doing a lot of this reporting a full year before the Me Too movement really took off. And so this was a time when many women said that they had experienced this activity or this harassment or abuse, but they really feared coming forward with these stories.
It was a different culture.
It was a completely, it wasn't that long ago, but it was entirely different time. People feared that they wouldn't be believed. They feared that they would put their careers into jeopardy. They feared that that they would become targets because they were speaking out against this abuse. So that was a huge barrier and a huge hurdle that we faced. The other huge and significant barrier that we faced were these very ironclad confidentiality agreements. So what we did is some really kind of just old school boots on the ground reporting, and we called as many people as possible. We called as many people close to these women, as many lawyers, people who were at the company, people who have left the company, people who were in O'Reilly's world, to just try to piece together what this story was.
And you realized at what point that it was a pattern, that his behavior was a pattern and the company's resolution was a pattern?
One of the interesting things that we did is we went back, while we were kind of doing this reporting, one of our sources had said, it's just like the Catholic Church. It's just like the sexual abuse scandal in the Catholic Church. So we thought, let's go and look at the stories that the Boston Globe had covered back in 2002 about the sex abuse scandal within the Catholic Church. we pulled up all of those stories, and we actually watched the movie Spotlight, and because it was great just to see kind of how did they do this reporting? What was the strategy behind their reporting? What sort of lines did they use to try to get people to talk to them?
Hi. I'm Sasha Pfeiffer from the Boston Globe.
Did you have a conversation, though, at any point during the reporting about what this could mean? Or were you too deep in it at that point to understand?
That's what was so interesting. It was such intense reporting. We were so focused on following the facts and making sure that this was a fair and an accurate story that when the story published in April of last year, it published and then it just like exploded and set off this firestorm. And it's wild to think about, but it was right after the story published, there were protests outside of Fox News. Advertisers boycotted Bill O'Reilly's show. And you really can't underestimate how powerful he was in American media. People called him the king of cable news. The show was the top rated on all of cable news for 15 years. So this was this very powerful man. And so it was this kind of early moment that I think people really stood back and said, wait, this isn't just Fox News. This is a huge issue that our society hasn't confronted, that we haven't talked about. Yeah. And it was at that point that editors at the Times decided, let's continue to dig. Who are other powerful men that may have had these hidden stories? And so that's when my colleagues started to write about issues in Silicon Valley, in Hollywood, at the auto plant in Ford, and kind of the stories just kept on coming and coming and coming.
So that moment when you did finally go and meet him.
Yeah.
So he had he lost his job at that point?
Yes.
Okay, because the timeline's hard for me
It's
to
a
follow.
little,
You know it so well that I don't.
It's a little.
So, but he finally agreed to talk to you on the record.
Right.
What was that like?
I was nervous. And we sat down for an interview, and it was kind of a very terse and tense 40 minutes. But it was also very important because it was all on the record, and we are giving him the chance to respond to all of our reporting.
Yeah, that's what balanced and fair reporting is.
Exactly.
Except at the end, he sort of loses it a little bit.
There was a point at the end of the reporting where we were kind of putting our folders, our papers into the bag and kind of ready to call an end to the interview. And O'Reilly kind of stands up at the end and he puts his hand on the table, and our recorders are still running. And so you can hear this on The Daily, which is the New York Times podcast.
Which is where I heard it, yeah.
And basically he yells at us.
This is horrible. It's horrible what I went through. Horrible what my family went through. This is crap, and you know it. It's politically and financially motivated, and we can prove it with shocking information. But I'm not going to sit there in a courtroom for a year and a half and let my kids get beaten up every single day of their lives by a tabloid press who would sit there, and you know it.
And then you just left.
Yeah, so then we kind of shook the lawyer's hands. He didn't shake our hands at the end. He walked over to the window and just kind of stood looking out the window. And then Mike and I got on the elevator, and we were a little rattled and kind of went back and told our editors what happened and got the story into the paper.
How do you feel now that that part of the reporting is over? Because, you know, his career is done, he's done, these women have been given a voice. The truth has been exposed. How do you feel about all of that now, sort of that you've had a little bit of time to sit back?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really powerful to see the power of journalism. I think that this has been an extraordinary year for reporting and for following the facts. And I think what we've seen is that the truth does have a voice, that it's important to hold people in positions of power to account. It's important to look at the systems that have enabled that power structure to continue. And it's also really important to give a voice to people who have been silenced. And I think that that's just really incredible, and I just feel really grateful to have been able to do that work.
Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
You must be very proud.
I am. Thank you. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good conversation. When you think of superheroes, Batman, Iron Man, Spider-Man, lots of men on that list. But at this year's Fan Expo, a gathering of fantasy fans of all stripes, from gamers to comic book collectors, there is no question women are having a real moment. Wonder Woman was the biggest blockbuster from a female director. Wakanda forever! Black Panther was praised for its multitude of strong feminist characters. And this summer, Evangeline Lilly became the first woman to have equal billing on a Marvel movie. So if this year's Fan Expo tells us anything, it's that these films are paying off, not just at the box office.
There's been a lot more female representation in comic books and in media in general. It just feels nice, you know, to know that girls can do it too.
And it's not just that there are more women, it's how they're being portrayed. Take Harley Quinn in DC Comics.
You're seeing that sort of re-roll of her. Even in the comic book, she's got a louder voice. She's, you know, even some of her storylines, she's breaking away from being a victim and really just coming in her own shell. So I think that that's really great.
Of course, there's plenty of room for improvement. Of the 61 celebrity guests at this Fan Expo, only 19 are women, and almost all of them are white. Still, this fan says female empowerment on screen translates off screen, too.
Well, I've been coming to this show for the last 10 years now, and there has certainly been a boost in women in this show than the guys, and it's really amazing to see them just completely have fun with the environment. They're absolutely comfortable around here, and it's been absolutely opening to everybody.
The soothing sound of ocean waves can be an appealing sedative. Around the world, it's a draw for people looking just to relax. In Israel, though, a really popular racket game can make paradise a little loud. Is that sound getting on your nerves even just a little bit? Well, the game is called Matcott, and it's not meant to be competitive, but it certainly has made some enemies. The CBC's Derek Stoffel hears from both sides in tonight's Dispatch from Tel Aviv.
This is the soundtrack to summer in Israel. As temperatures soar, the beaches are taken over by the Matcott, a kind of paddle ball that locals here say is Israel's unofficial national sport. Yossi Kelef explains the game he's been playing since he was a kid.
We can say it's like tennis, but we play it with this, and the ball is something like that. And we have to give the ball from one to the other one.
The rules are simple. There are none.
There's no score. You're just playing. There's just back and forth. That's it.
Israelis have a reputation of being assertive. They take their sport seriously here with intense rivalries when it comes to basketball and soccer. But at the beach, when the Matcott paddles are out, it's much more chill.
Well, it's just casual fun. Just come to the beach and play for fun with there's no competition. So that's pretty sums it up. It's just for fun.
Not to beat. We both play together, both, you know, in the same team. And we are trying, both of us, to do it harder and faster as we can.
The game is indeed popular. It's played up and down the Mediterranean coast here, but for those who want to soak up the sun in peace, it's downright annoying, even dangerous. These two Israeli filmmakers dislike Matcott so much that they made this video.
הבעיה בזה שאתה פשוט, אתה לא יכול ללכת על החוף. אין חוף. כל שנייה אתה יכול לקבל איזה פצצה לפרצוף.
They say this woman is one of many who has been hurt by careless players.
מה קרה? אמרו לי שאולי בעלי נתן לי כאלה מכות רצח. הרבה שנים לא היה לי שיניים בפה בגלל המטקה.
Israeli authorities 50 years ago made sections of the beaches Matcott-free zones, and city inspectors sometimes patrol looking for offenders. But most of the sunbathers we spoke to weren't too bothered by the sound or the players.
I think it's a fun game. It's a fun game. Some people play very well.
Yeah, those guys were talking to you down
very well, very well.
Still playing very well at the age of 74 is the man who's become known as the Matcott King, Amnon the Cannon. He's out at least once a week for several hours of intense play. Amnon Nissim loves Matkot so much he's turned his apartment into a shrine to the game. He's collected more than 350 paddles, the largest collection in Israel. Show me some of your favorite rackets here. Which ones that you like?
These marble.
Marble, okay. She painted you on that. Including this one, painted by a friend. His museum of Matkot draws visitors from around the world who come to experience his lifetime passion. It's a game of togetherness. There are no winners or losers, he says. Hundreds of thousands of people here take part simply for the pleasure of two people playing together. It's thought that people here have been playing Matkot for about 100 years. Similar versions of the game exist on the beaches of California, Brazil, and across the Mediterranean. But for Israelis, this simple sport, two people, two paddles, is now part of their culture. Derek Stoffel, CBC News, Tel Aviv.
I want to play. Still ahead on the National, our moment of the day, an ominous message from the past. This is a warning to us sent straight from the 17th century, revealed by historic droughts in Europe. The message is our moment. Next. But first, ET phone home. Space scientists are hoping Opportunity has a chance to finally wake up. The Mars rover has been silent for months as it waits out a fierce dust storm that's passed overhead.
Well, Opportunity is pretty amazing because it was only expected to last for 90 sols or 90 Martian days on the surface. And it's been working for about 15 years now. And this has been really great because we've moved far beyond where we initially landed and we've been able to explore a bunch of new little pieces of Mars.
Opportunity first launched in 2003. It landed on the red planet a year later and has been beaming back information since. It's about the size of a golf cart, and it's weathered a few scares before. A large storm in 2007, and again in 2010, when severe cold from a Martian winter just knocked out the rover's twin, Spirit. The hardy Opportunity also survived a couple of serious breakdowns. But this latest storm a few months ago has scientists nervous. The rover was last heard from June 10th in Mars's aptly named Perseverance Valley.
I think everybody loves the story of the little rover that could because it's lasted so much longer than we expected. So we've seen a lot of outpouring of support on Twitter with the hashtags WakeUpOppie and SaveOppie, our cute name for the rover, as we like to call her.
Now, as the skies clear up, NASA is hoping the rover will be able to power up again and get back to work after its long hibernation. It's been given 45 days to respond to the team's signals. After that, NASA may have to concede that the rover won't recover. In the meantime, we can bask in some of the discoveries Opportunity has made so far.
Now I remember that the real world was wide, and that a varied field of hopes and fears, of sensations and excitements, awaited those who had the courage to go forth into its expanse, to seek real knowledge of life amidst its perils.
Here are some of the stories we're following on the National for this upcoming week. It is back to school for most students across Canada. Ontario will be launching its controversial interim sex ed curriculum. And Premier Doug Ford has really taken a hard line, suggesting there will be consequences if teachers don't adhere to it. And there are questions, too, in other provinces about class sizes. Concerns about a teacher shortage persists in parts of the country, especially BC, where hundreds of vacancies have yet to be filled.
It tears at the soul.
Where's your brother? No!
But it can also be a weapon.
And the Toronto International Film Festival opens on Thursday for the first time ever A small-screen Netflix movie has been chosen for TIFF's big-screen gala opener. Outlaw King stars Chris Pine and is also the first Scottish film to open the festival. This week, we'll be taking a closer look at just how Netflix is disrupting Hollywood. Now, it's not every day you get a message from the past, but that is exactly what's happening in Europe. And it's a dire warning. It's also tonight's moment. It's been a summer full of records and extremes. Just take a look at BC. The province is now officially dealing with its worst wildfire season on record in terms of hectares burned. And that's meant smoky skies for much of Western Canada. This is Calgary's skyline, sort of. Let's not forget Montreal's deadly heat wave back in July, but we're not the only ones feeling the effects of extreme temperatures. Have a look at Europe, where summer has felt like a modern-day version of biblical plagues. And just when you thought the warning signs couldn't get any worse, bring in the hunger stones. Located in the Czech Republic along the Elbe River, the rocks were used to record low water levels, but starting centuries ago, when those water levels got dangerously low, bad enough to result in droughts and terrible harvests, past generations wrote notes on those rocks, warnings to the people of the future, like this one, a message from 1904 saying, "If you see me, weep." At least a dozen of these hunger stones in the Czech Republic and Germany have now appeared. No one knows how many there really are. Okay, so the earliest message they've been able to find was from 1616, and it seems that when the water gets to about 160 centimeters below that point, that's when the messages start to appear, and it's already been a bit of a disaster. In that one spot in the Czech Republic, it has blocked commercial and private shipping, so that they know they mean business. That is the National for Sunday, September the 2nd. Good night.